Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, which means it's time for a 5-Minute Monday. That's where we take a little nugget from one of our conversations on the About to Break podcast, and I just kind of summarize a thought, a concept, an idea that I learned along the way from listening to one of these incredible artists. Now, a couple caveats. This is not my wisdom that I'm sharing with you. This is the wisdom of others that I'm trying to apply to my life. And the second thing is I'm trying to apply it to my life. I took notes on what I was going to share. I just jotted down some thoughts as I was re-listening to the episode we're going to talk about today. And then tonight I had a show, and at the show, it just didn't go the way I wanted it to. It didn't go bad. It wasn't awful. People had a good time and they laughed and they enjoyed the magic. But the truth is, I had this picture in my mind of how it was going to go, and that is not how it went. And that's what I want to talk about today on this 5-Minute Monday, is the idea that sometimes as an artist, we can always overthink and analyze and wonder, did I do good enough? Is it what is the perfection of what art is? And the truth is it's never going to be perfect. So many artists that we look at and we see, oh, that movie was fantastic. Oh, that painting is beautiful. At some point, they just stopped painting because they had to be done and they had to put it out. At some point, the movie had to get finished. So sometimes we look at artists and we think that what they have put out there is the pinnacle of what they think is perfection. No. It's just the fact that sometimes you got to put a period at the end of the sentence. And I was thinking about this in the podcast that I did, episode 14 with Julie Brister. Julie's an amazing actress and comedian. She's so freaking funny. And she was my improv coach when I first started at UCB taking Improv 101. And one of the things that Julie talked about on episode 14 of the podcast, which you can go and listen to if you haven't, one of the things she talked about is this idea that no great artist looks at the art that they do and think it's fantastic. That constantly you're going to be critiquing yourself and wondering, what can I do to tweak it? What can I do to make it different? And the truth is, that is what makes great art. That is what makes anything you do, whatever your work life is, whatever your family life is. It's not going to be perfect every time. You've got to put in the practice, you've got to put in the time, and you've got to care enough to actually share what you're doing with other people in the midst of it. And one of the challenges that I face being in this realm of social media now is we post something and immediately we go, did anyone like it? Did anyone comment? Did anyone share? Did anyone do any of the things that we expect them to do? And this is one of the only moments in history where we have had this ability to instantly know if our work was received, right? I mean, never before. You never had Michelangelo or Aristotle or Picasso. You know, these cats, they would put stuff out, and many of them, Beethoven, many of these great musicians and artists and just incredible creative individuals never knew how great they were. They don't know that people all over the world are enjoying their art. At the times many of them were around, they didn't even know that was a possibility. And yet we sit in front of our computer and we put something out and we go, this is going to be it. And we wait. And then we forget about the art we've created. We forget about the moment with our family. We forget about whatever it is we're sharing because we're just sharing it to see if someone else likes it rather than living in that moment. And one of the things that Julie challenged me is this idea that if you're questioning what you do and wondering if it's good enough, it doesn't mean that it's not good. It doesn't mean that it's not worth doing. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep doing it. It just means that you're growing and you're stretching. You know, when I was a kid, I played guitar all the time. I still do from time to time. And guitar is amazing, but guitar, you know, you have to tune the strings. And the only way to get the guitar to sound good is for you to stretch these strings. And I remember I'd be tuning the guitar and just thinking, man, this time is it going to snap? Like I feel like it's almost where it needs to be, but I don't know, man. If I go too far, it's going to break. And sometimes we feel like we're about to break. Sometimes we feel we're at that breaking point. But the truth is, if we can just breathe a little bit and allow the stretching to take place and realize that it's just you working on the thing that you do, you working on being the person you're supposed to be and not worrying about what other people think in the process. I know it's easier said than done. I literally struggled with this tonight. I drove home and I went, and now it's 1:00 in the morning on a Monday, and I'm recording this to encourage you to not sit like I did and to just think, man, I wish it was better. Enjoy the moment, live in the present, and realize that time is precious.